on a picturesque Tuesday evening from the town of Wareham. Welcome to Spillane Field. And we are all set for Wareham Gatemen baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Tonight it is Wareham and the Harwich Mariners. First of two matchups between these teams in Wareham, first of four this season. With Jack Hunter and Amanda Foster, I'm Aiden Blank. And Jack, the Gatemen are making progress. The pitching, obviously, as we talked about in the pregame, improved by leaps and bounds last night. And now should be another defensive duel tonight. We're expecting some really good pitching from Coleman Picard and everybody on the Gatemen staff.
Good to be with you, Aiden. When I showed up to the ballpark today, I saw an unusual amount of scouts. And that's because we've got two pitchers on hand, both draft eligible, both guys that have next level potential. On the Gatemen side, we've got Coleman Picard. Coleman Picard to everybody. A guy that's got a good four-pitch mix. He's got a fastball, devastating slider, and curveball, and his changeup he's going to try to work more into his arsenal. And then Josh Bostic on the other side, a JUCO guy that's committed to play at UT Arlington next year, but he is also draft eligible. Big fastball. We saw a low-scoring game yesterday between a low-scoring game. It's found with yesterday. Two offenses, though, trying to get back on track, Aiden.
Just about set for baseball tonight. The Gatemen about to take the field against a Mariners team that has done unusually well these first couple of games. They've won two of their first three and are looking for their second road win of the season. Jack, why don't you take us through this defensive alignment for Wareham as they get set to back up Coleman Picard.
In the infield from left to right, we've got Nixon Blackman in the hot corner. Murillo and Michaels make up the duo up the middle. And then Will Cook back in the lineup tonight. He'll be playing first base. In the outfield, we've got Dylan Goldstein in left field. David Clancy manning center field once again. And then Bobby Bozer, third position we've seen now in the fourth game of the year. He is playing right field. A late scratch for Drake DiGiorno, shuffled some pieces around, but that's how we did the lineup. Behind Coleman Picard, Jimmy Brennan behind the plate.
A lot of competition going on these next couple of days for positioning. So you expect to see just about everybody that's on the roster right now should be getting in over the next two games. We didn't get to talk to Ryan Smythe, but well, that pretty much is what we're going with, is that we are going to see over the next 2 days just about everybody get a chance to earn their position. I think Smythe has been incredibly fair about, hey, if you can play well and you can hit the ball or pitch the ball, you're going to start. Yeah, I've seen a number of different combinations.
And Ryan Smythe is still trying to shuffle the offense around, trying to figure out a combination that really works best. Obviously, the offense had a great game in opening day at Falmouth, scoring 11 runs. Hyannis was a little bit slower here for the home opener, only scoring 5 runs, and all of them early. And then yesterday versus Katuitt, just kind of a sleepy day for the bat. So obviously trying to get some guys more experience too in competition, but just trying to find a combination that works.
Leadoff hitter is Jacob Humphrey from UMass Lowell. Righty hitter. Plenty of scouts looking on. Takes ball one.
Up next to two cows.
Picard,
his backyard.
He knows that. He was very loose pregame. He knows there's a lot of scouts here to see him. Could possibly be about half this park is here to see him. Pitch settle side 2-0. Our first pitch was at 6:01 this evening, so just a minute late. 2-1 foul back. We may even be able to hear a couple of scouts on our crowd mic tonight. They are all over the place. We are at overflow. From the full wind, the Bryant righty. This is high, 3-1. A hitter's count. Leadoff hitter in this Mariners lineup, Jacob Humphrey, then our Lee Camarillo and Kalen Culpepper. The count goes full. From the full wind, Humphrey back in the box, takes it low for ball 4. And an unusually long at bat to start the ball game for Picard.
The shortstop, number 30,
walks the first man he faces, now gets a chance to rebound with Lee Camarillo from CSU Northridge.
This is a really cool experience for Picard. If you joined us pregame, Amanda interviewed Coleman, and Coleman grew up in Auburn, Massachusetts, which is about 80 minutes from here. He goes to school at Bryant University, which is in Smithfield, Rhode Island, which is less than an hour from here. Very familiar with the Cape League, and he's got some family and friends in attendance tonight.
From the stretch for the first time. Breaky ball misses outside 1-0. Outfield is deep with Goldstein, Glancy, and DiGiorno left to right. Infield is Black, Bozer, Michaels, Cook third to first. Of course, Picard and Jimmy Brennan in the backdrop tonight. Back stop. Ball goes inside. It's 2-0.
Picard strikes out a lot of guys. He does not walk a lot of guys. He walks under 7% of the hitters he faces. So I think you can attribute some of this early command issues to kind of nerves.
2-0 finally finds that outside corner for strike one, 2-1.
Ryan Smythe likes to talk about trying to keep these guys loose and have fun, and Coleman was saying the same thing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when you do get out there and you are the man in the arena, it is tough.
Check back to first, and head first slide from Humphrey as he beats the pickoff attempt. Ooh, they nearly got him. He slides in safely. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch. Little chopper over to short. Fielded by Bozer. Flips to second, 1. Relay to first. Just a touch late. They had the right idea. Ball is going a little bit slower today on the infield, which was cut pregame, but Bozer did the right thing. Flips to Michaels, gets the lead runner, but on a fielder's choice, Camarillo reaches safely.
Kansas State.
It's actually Sebastian Murillo who's there at shortstop because of the substitutions. Culpepper, the DH, takes outside 1-0. Caleb Culpepper, a Kansas State Wildcat. Settles back in the box. Everybody's been very back in the box. Slaps it foul, 1-1.
That's just customary when you're a college hitter going against a guy that's throwing mid-90s. You got to give yourself as much time as you can.
Ball a strike out. Singles wild for Picard. Another one high, 2-1. Dealing for the first base side of the rubber. Facing Culpepper, who was all Big 12 freshman team in 2022, and takes it high, 3-1.
Yeah, Picard's had a tough time trying to command his breaking pitches so far. He started Jones out with Culpepper out with a slider, and then ended up going to a curveball there, and both missing.
In for a strike, count runs full. Culpepper was also all Big 12 honorable mention during his freshman campaign. This season hit .325. The Kansas State team that a lot of people thought maybe got snubbed for the NCAA tournament. 3-2. Fouls it over to the Mariner dugout. Count holds full. Three and 2 the count. Pitch on the way. Runner goes. It's a broken bat ball that goes foul down the line. Not a lot of people know because there's only really 2 fields we've seen that have it, but the front of the baseline is basically the lip of the grass, so that was indeed a foul ball.
Yeah, that's a weird, tricky spin on it. That ball was trying to get back towards fair territory.
The chalk line is the basement of the grass. The grass is the edging.
Count is 3 balls and 2 strikes still.
He was out there with a push mower.
So the cut is the foul line, I think. Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy. I can see it go into it.
Taps another one, foul. Count remains full.
Recognize we're having some audio difficulties right now, so please stay with us. Try to fix it as soon as we can.
Check back to first to no avail. Culpepper out of Memphis, Tennessee. Not too far from home. The righty swinger runner goes, pitch outside, throw down to second.
Ball 4.
I didn't hear any call.
They called ball 4, so it did erase the play a second.
So Camarillo steals.
27, Kennedy Jones from UNC Greensboro.
No stolen base.
He won.
Culpepper comes to the play. Culpepper goes to first, and now here's Kennedy Jones. Low strike, 0-1. No balls, a strike, and an out. Pitch on the way. Settle side 1-1.
Picard up to 21 pitches here with only 1 out of the inning. It's clear he really doesn't have his sharp stuff right now, so he needs to kind of hunker down and just try to get out of the inning.
Off the inside of the bat, trailing foul right side, playable. First baseman is well cooked. Makes the catch. First time this season that anybody other than Kate Sullivan has played first base.
Third baseman.
Expect a couple more changes over there with Grant Hussey coming in. You'll get a couple more changes throughout the season.
Yeah, but Hussey not expected to support at least for the next week or so.
Yeah, he'll be one of those guys here on the 21st, it seems. Another batch of guys comes in on the off day on the 15th. Set for Picard. He's got 2 outs. Turns and throws. And he throws it into center field. There is no play at either base. And a mistake there allows 2 runners to get into scoring position. This is one of those situations where you got to take a deep breath and just get out of the inning. He hasn't given up any runs yet. First pitch. Breaking ball lands in for a strike. I don't think Brennan knew where that ball was going.
Well, I don't think he knew it was coming. He clearly got crossed up on that pitch. He was looking for a fastball and then had to go in defense mode.
That was a big drop, too, on the curveball.
It looks a lot bigger when the glove is not sitting still. Picard, a 4-pitch guy, he's got the fastball. He's got a kind of a tight bullet slider that he hasn't really been able to control so far. Got a big curveball that's been a pitch that he's used pretty regularly. The slider was something he added last year. He's got a changeup, especially against lefties, that he's trying to throw more. Cave is good for trying to make some adjustments and try to mess around with your arsenal.
0-1, 2 out. Runners on second and third base. Picard in an early jam, trying to get himself out of it. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Oh, how dirty was that break?
That's that tighter slider right there, I believe. He plays both of them very well off each other, and especially off of his fastball. Ultimately, he's really just trying to tunnel all of his pitches to look same at the release point, and then all move in different directions at different velocities.
He shakes off a sign. Now finally has what he wants. And deals. Oh, and inside. Good block behind the dish by Brennan. Probably saved a run there because there is ample space in the backstop here for Camarillo to scamper on home. You got to be very careful. If you're Brennan right now, don't let anything by you.
I was talking with Jimmy before the game. That's something he really takes pride in and considers one of his biggest strengths at the catcher position.
Pops it up. Left side foul ground. And it funks into the stands to hold the count at 1-2. Black thought he might have a play on it, didn't.
Got a pretty good view here from up in the press box, but once you get behind those visiting bleachers down there, it's kind of caverns. A lot of empty space down there.
1-2 with 2 out, runners on second and third base.
LSU people, they travel.
Pitch on the way. Chopped up the middle. Murillo at short. Murillo makes the play. Over to first, 6-3 put out. And the inning comes to an end with no runs on no hits and no errors, with 2 runners left on base.
The Wareham Gatemen.
Back from Wareham, John Bostic is the
Center fielder, number
starting
11,
pitcher.
David Clancy from St.
David
John.
Clancy is the leadoff hitter from St. John's. Back on the Gatemen Baseball Network, Amanda Foster in just a moment. Jack Hunter, I'm Aiden Blank. Clancy takes a hard cut, fouls it into the glove of tonight's starting catcher for Harwich, and that is Brian Aaron. Clancy back in the box. It's been the theme tonight. Another cut and a miss, 0-2.
Bostic, a 4-pitch guy, mostly runs with that fastball. You can get up to 95 on it. He's got a slider and a changeup, and then will use a slow curveball occasionally.
0-2. Ball slides away, 1-2.
Big guy, too. He's about 6'4", but he really drives into that back leg. It's really low at the point of release.
Low stance. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 3 swinging strikes for David Clancy, and he's retired to start the first inning.
Number 6,
Take
Bobby
a look at the slider right there.
from
It's
South
got a
Florida.
great lateral break to it. A lot of sweep, kind of cutter-esque. Clancy, kind of an uncompetitive at bat there. You got to give a lot of credit to Bostic.
Ball fouled off. It's 0-1. Beg your pardon, 1-0. Bosher, the hitter, still looking for his first Cape League hit. Has struggled in his first couple of games. We mentioned this is the second or third position that we've seen him at. It's called strike. It's 1-1.
Jam. Last time.
High and in. Out of the glove of Aaron. 1-2.
Bostic stands 6'4", 205 pounds. He's made 5 starts this year where he's had double-digit punch-outs. He spits on the 1-2. Bostic fires and a miss inside.
So the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. Bases are empty. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And Bosher down on strikes. So a pair of strikeouts from the hard-throwing Bostic to start the game.
Left fielder, number 5, Dylan Goldstein
Struck out
from Florida
103
Atlantic.
batters across 16 2/3 innings of work at Grayson College in Texas this past year. Big turnaround from year 1 to year 2 of his JUCO experience.
Takes the ball. No, takes a low strike. It's 0-1. This is Goldstein.
Grayson
for a strike. It's 0-2. Nate Sullivan waits on deck. 0-2 is popped up left side. Playable. Caught for a 1-2-3, top of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And an inning is in the books. Harwich nothing, Wareham nothing on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
6 prizes offered in tonight's drawing. First,
Back at Spillane Field, there's a rip to left center field. A couple of pitches into the second inning, and the first hit off Coleman. Wilson has a fun bat. It matches Mariner colors. We'll call it Mariner Red. The first offering as he stands back in the box. Here's a curveball that pops in, pops out of the glove of Brennan. He goes to get it, but it's too late. King is advanced.
Yeah, you can tell that Picard and Brennan are still trying to get on the same page. We saw Brennan get crossed up last inning. You know, obviously for any catcher, it's going to be a difficult task trying to catch a pitcher live for the first time, even if you've caught a few bullpens with him in days prior.
Pitch on the way, sails outside. Shadows have now engulfed about half the batter's circle there. Cuts diagonally through. Runner on second base is King. Wilson trying to bring him in. Stands back, high stance. Rips it foul to the backstop, 2-1.
Aiden, we were looking down kind of in this well under us in between innings to try to figure out the situation with our crowd microphones. And there was like 10 scouts down there.
Yep.
And I think they probably,
even more on the scout deck next to us.
I think they probably liked what they saw out of Josh Bostic in the first inning.
2-1. Curveball, nice looper that goes in for strike 2. Neither pitcher has given up a run so far. Picard left 2 runners stranded in that last inning. Two en route. Up the middle, bites out a curveball, and it scoots into center field. It's a base hit. It very easily scores King. It's a pair of hits to start the second inning. And Harwich has themselves the first run of the ball game.
Try to go back to that spiked curveball right there. That's something that he changed coming into this year when he's maybe starting for the first time, otherwise known as a knuckle curve, kind of digging your fingernail into the baseball. And he just left it 2 up. That's been consistent so far in his start between the slider and the curveball. He's been leaving it hanging.
Hitter is now Brian Aaron, and he cracks one in the air to left field, backpedaling is Goldstein. He makes the catch for out number 2, or out number 1 rather.
For Brian Arndt right there, smacking that ball
Gate
to left
number
field.
14, Eric Irado.
Kind of kicking yourself, you couldn't get on base, but there's really not much more he could have done there. He hit that one on the screws. Just, you got to really hit it to get out of here first. He didn't lift it.
Virginia Tech here today.
Eric Arado, last hitter in this Mariner lineup. Humphrey, who led off last inning with a walk, is on deck.
They just lost Fisher. Yeah. To the portal.
First pitch.
Fisher, the kid from New Jersey? Yeah. He had a great freshman
Umpire
year.
exclaimed it's inside, ball 1.
Yeah. I think he hit like 15 homers.
Arado out of Northern Illinois.
He's going to end up
Huskies,
getting paid.
right?
He's probably going to go to like
I
LSU.
believe that is the case.
The one low and inside, 2-0.
Arado is the Bobby Bozer, per se, of the Harwich Mariners. Since he started his college career, in 2021, he's played every position for Northern Illinois except for catcher.
2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Off speed, got it over the plate, 2-1.
And he's Mr. Consistent last year, or this past season, playing all 53 games.
Card shakes off a couple of signs. Now has the one he wants. Chest high set. Snap throw back to first. And they got him. But Card picks him off. Wilson gets caught napping at first base on a very close play. Sullivan, I beg your pardon, Cook slaps the tag. And the Mariners run into a second out of the inning there. Very different situation now for Arado, who taps one foul and is suddenly a strike away from ending this inning.
Yeah, hopefully Coleman Picard can breathe a little bit. Obviously, like we've said, he doesn't really have his A stuff so far, but if he can get out of this inning unscathed with only 1 run given up through 2 innings, I think he should be pretty happy taking himself off the mound after the second.
Full wind. Tapped off the plate foul. That'll hopefully get him a little more amped up. Get the juices flowing. Deuces Wilds on the ground, shuffling over is Michaels, and makes the play to first. 4-3 to end the second inning with 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner, no runners left on base. Inning and a half done, and the Mariners have struck first. 1-0 Harwich on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
He does. I was thinking.
At Spillane Field. And guys, fun fact, these two teams faced off on this date in 2018. Now, it was the home opener for the Gatemen, and they took it 3-2 with a walk-off in the 9th inning, and of course would go on to win the championship of the Cape Cod League. Now, tonight, the Gatemen are just looking to bounce back and get a win, but I'm sure they wouldn't be too disappointed if they ended up getting the same result at the end of this season.
Like a lot of hazards, ladders everywhere.
A lot of bugs. You got that West Nile virus.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta, you never know.
They used to have a fire down. All these wires.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Happy birthday. She's 21. Always a fun birthday, and especially fun when you get to celebrate it with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
All right, Aiden, we just got you to go now.
Kate Sullivan leads off. Takes a strike. We do have a game on my birthday, July 19th. We are at Brewster.
What a great birthday.
That is the second of the 2 Brewster games. Always, going to be fun for Ryan Smythe. Swings and misses 0-2. The first of those games will be on Monday. We head to White House Field. No, White House Field is Harwich. We'll head to Stony Brook Field. Drop third strike. Sullivan hustles down but cannot beat the throw. And that is 3 of 4 that have struck out to begin this ball game. Well,
First baseman, number 45.
I'll tell you, the scouts may have been here to watch whoever, but Bostic has certainly become the center of attention. This is a very strong start for him.
He's not really doing anything too special except for just executing his pitches at a very high level. Good fastball, good slider. He's been working off both.
I went down the line.
Cook, strike 1.
And it helps when you can get ahead in almost every count you're in.
Cook down in the count. Reaches. Stabbed on the mound by Bostic, who just runs it over himself. You can sense he's in the zone right now. He is feeling it out there on the mound.
Went to the changeup there, and it toned really well off of that first pitch fastball, and got the exact swing that he wanted from Will Cook, which was rolling over on the pitch. He was able to pick it up and get it to first.
Hey, it's Dixon Black, our friend the Wofford Terrier. Goes right after him. Strike 1. That's really the best way to go after Bostic, is to swing. And swing hard and hope that you put bat on ball. The pitch. High and tight.
Yeah, these guys are still, for the Gatemen, especially with the pitch clock, this could be tough, but get them out of rhythm. Try to get yourself in hitter's count. Still keep a good eye. Stay patient at the plate.
Takes outside.
It's a great take. See, those are the exact takes you need right there. You know, you can't be doing them any favors early in the count.
Black, the third baseman, in a 2-1 count. trying to avoid 6 up and 6 down for the Gatemen to start this game. Remember, only 3-4 batters yesterday for the Gatemen were not retired. The count goes 2-2 now. So a good offensive day is a must for this team.
Hang with it. Here it comes again.
Even count, reaches, skies it high right side, foul territory, dropping quickly, caught by the second baseman. Out there, that's Seaver King, and he puts it away to end the inning. It's an F4, and the second inning comes to a conclusion. 1-0 Harwich on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
And have grown to be the best liquor store in town with the best prices. They have over 1,000 different wines and a
That's why we come to Wareham. That's why we come to
and
Wareham.
imported beers. Stop by and check them out. Their friendly staff will be happy to assist you. Look for their neon package store sign and iconic symbol on Route 6 or call 508-295-0016.
What happened? Sorry. I'm not losing my spot. Yeah. I didn't forget.
Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education in graduate studies, including mid-year master's programs at curry.edu.
Past marshes, cranberry bogs, dunes, and other places only accessible by rail. You can enjoy a daytime ride with narrated tales on the history of the canal, and how cranberries are harvested, or enjoy a relaxing weekday lunch or Sunday brunch. Maybe a sunset dinner train is
It is Tuesday night, first of 2
The center
games.
fielder, number
The
36,
Gatemen will
Jacob
play at
Humphrey
home against
from
East
UMass
Division
Lowell.
rivals, the Firebirds, up from Orleans tomorrow night.
Oh, that's amazing.
Should be a fun matchup. A 6 o'clock start time as always. Swing and a miss. And a breaking ball from Picard, who seems to have hit his stride towards the end of that last inning as well.
I didn't know
Kickoff
that.
really helped. Sometimes that's all you need.
Couldn't find the strike zone there. Count goes 1-1.
I stayed in.
Both of these
When he
pitchers
was
starting to work
recruiting
into a
Dwayne Wade
groove.
and that crew, I was
The 1-1.
playing with Houston.
High and away, 2-1.
You know, the exhibition game before the season. My wife met me, and we were staying at the same hotel as
We had mentioned a
Pat
Gatemen's
Riley,
pitching
Dwayne Wade,
staff
they all
that
came in the lobby.
got rocked.
It was pretty cool. You know,
They came into
he's got a
yesterday's game with a
presence about him, no doubt.
10.5 ERA. It's now just above
Connected in New York.
7.6. 2-2 is inside 3-2.
Oh, he's
Still right up among the worst in the league, but getting better.
No, maybe they were still
The payoff pitch is cracked on a line and by Murillo is short for a base hit. A wide turnaround first for the leadoff man, Jacob Humphrey. Stays put, base hit for him.
Shortstop, number 30,
He's on for the
Ali
second time
Camarillo
today.
from CSU
Ali
Northridge.
Camarillo coming up again.
Humphrey's got that hit to hit over 300 for UMass Lowell in his sophomore year.
You know where the games were played?
Almost 70 hits.
Where they filmed the match? Pretty cool.
Camarillo, the shortstop, reached out a fielder's choice, left stranded at third back in the first inning. Runner on first base. First offering is hit in the air to left field, down the line hooking. Goldstein on the run. Goldstein makes the play, 1 down. Another one of those balls towards the left field line that we kind of lost. But Goldstein didn't.
Designated hitter, number 18, Caitlin
Culpepper
from Kansas State.
You gotta look out for Humphrey on first base as the American East Conference record. Single season, 46 stolen bases. He's one shy of 80 career stolen bases now just after his sophomore year. He put up 33.
That's why these coaches are here.
Big test for Brennan behind the plate.
Pitch and route. Checked his swing. Throw down. Not in time.
He'll be hounded after the game.
I thought the throw beat him.
It did. It just couldn't. Michaels
Yeah.
couldn't collect the short hop. I thought it was a pretty good throw, good transfer from Brennan. It's just one of those tricky plays that you can't really put the fault on the infielder for, but it's one that Michaels would have liked to have. You just got to get the short hop and slap the tag. It's a very difficult play to make.
Culpepper Owalko ready to his name. Back in the righty's batter's box. Pitch on the way. Ooh, that's a hard line drive. Stopped at third. They almost doubled him up, but Michaels couldn't react in time to double him up. But wow, how about Dixon Black playing the hot corner there at third base? Catching out number 2.
Left fielder number
I think Culpepper got that one a little bit off the edge of his bat. If he had barreled that, Black would have even been able to react. But that's now 2 straight balls, 2 straight Mariner hits where they haven't really barreled the ball up. So on the Gateman side, you're hoping that Picard has started to figure the spin out a little bit.
Brings up Kennedy Jones, fly out in his first at bat. Game's going on tonight. Brewster leads Hyannis 3-2. Good matchup there. The 2-1, 4-0. That's the championship celebration for the Braves. Their first home game of the season. High set for Picard, brings it home. Line drive off of his glove, but right into Michaels, who throws to first. How about the heads-up defense there to close out the third, get you the rest of the Cape League scoreboard as we go along. It's a 4-3 putout. No runs on 1 hit with no errors.
The shortstop, number 3, Sebastian Murillo from Georgia.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network alongside Jack Hunter and Amanda Foster. I'm Aiden Blank, having a very wonderful Tuesday evening. We certainly hope you are too. First pitch to Sebastian Murillo, in for strike 1.
Got ourselves a treat up here.
Yes,
Aiden.
we do. Even though it's Amanda's birthday, she should be given the gifts. We were given, I don't even know what this is.
It's like a slushie.
Oh, I can appreciate that. Count is 0-2 on Murillo. Can we get a shot up here? We'd like to try him on camera. Or not. It's all right. We'll bring you the audio play-by-play of it. It's 0-2 the count. Oh, 2 is a hard foul away. I'm thinking mine is some kind of, it's red, but grape maybe? I don't know.
I think I got some blue raspberry. Wish we could show this.
It's very good. The 0-2 check to swing. It goes low. Well, it's very good. I don't know if that's our host dad Mike down there, or I think he's out in left field doing the concessions out in left. But whatever it is, cheers.
Cheers, partner.
The count is 1-2 on Murillo. Check that, 2-2 on the Georgia Bulldog. He's certainly come into his own on the Cape. None of us really knew what to expect from him. He was a late addition. Little chopper, right side of the field. Terrific cover for Boston. I'll tell you, he has pitched very well, but he's also fielded his position. You gotta love the PFP.
Yeah, no, these scouts in, the Harwich coaching staff are not just looking at how well he can pitch the ball. They're looking at other things like how does he carry himself on the mound and how can he field his position. And right there, even though his hat fell off, he's doing a good amount. Instead of the natural reaction to pick it up, he darted to first base and beat Murillo there. 7 up, 7 down.
7 up, 7 down. Murillo's gone to start the inning. High and inside to his next opponent. It's Michaels who takes it upstairs 2-0.
Michael's looking for his next opportunity in the portal as a grad transfer from St. John's. A JUCO transfer making his way all the way across the country to the Johnnies.
By the end of it, he ended up being the MVP of the game. Signed as a free agent. Grad, $500,000. Bobby Kilton.
Oh, there you go. Got him.
High fly ball, left field and deep, has a shot, and it's gone! Kevin Michaels, the first Spillane home run of the season. And the Gatemen knotted up at 1 apiece.
You know who else is on that team, Matt?
Well, when you've got Bostic throwing as hard as he is, you got to hit the ball equally as hard, and he did. Just launches one into the right field grandstand. And Spillane popping a little bit on this Tuesday night. We're tied 1-1.
There are very
Catcher, number 13,
cheap
Jimmy
home runs
Brennan
here.
from Post University.
You got to get it out of here. And boy, he lifted it and drove it.
Ball is low. Jimmy Brennan, the 9-hitter, trying to match Michael's energy. That's going to be very hard. It's 1-1. Again, with Bostic throwing his hard, if you can get it on the bat, it's going to be a hard hit ball, but the question is where.
The second rounder.
1-1. Pops it up off the inside of the bat. Scott foul 1-2.
This will be interesting for Bostic. How does he respond to adversity? That's going to be another thing. All right, just give him a home run. Can he get back on the mound? Can he continue rolling? For Michaels, he had 162 plate appearances, 137 at-bats this past year, 1 home run at St. John's. Already matched that here in the 4th game of the year.
1-2 skips in front of the plate. You know what it was? It was the slushies. It was the good luck slushies.
There we go. It's his only 2nd game, too, here for the Gatemen.
Exactly. The minute we started drinking those slushies, good things start happening. The 2-2.
No, it took off.
It's low 3-2.
And then when he got to the big leagues,
I guess so.
I stretched out a little this offseason.
it's about time now.
You start hitting him over the fence.
3 balls and 2 strikes again. There's usually nobody ever down there where we put our crowd mics. There is a sea of scouts here tonight. They've seen a pretty good ball game so far. Each pitcher's pretty much made 1 or 2 mistakes.
Ryan Howard was the one that
How about a walk from Bostic, who is now
like the 5th or
starting
6th
to
round
slip
pick.
a little,
Yes.
retired.
He had a bad spring.
First 7
Bad
batters
spring.
now
Center
skipping
fielder,
beat,
number
but
11, David Glancy from St. John's.
go back to the top of the order, second time around the lineup with a runner on.
Jimmy Brennan from Post University, 2nd team all-conference guy. Got a great hit tool, and he's got a great eye, and he showed it off there. That's a tough pitch to lay off in a 3-2 count. And for Jimmy making his first start tonight for Wareham, you know, obviously going to the plate, behind the plate, maybe trying to do too much. Right there, that's the type of tape right there. You know he's not trying to do too much. He's trying to stay within himself.
We were teammates in the fall league.
Figured out what flavor.
He hit BP with a weight on his bat.
It would make sense with the collar.
Good start to the summer.
Just like a heavy weight on the bat. And he just
We
hit
have not
BP.
had a ton of, and knock on wood, we have not had a ton of crazy hot days.
Well, it's coming.
It worked.
2-0 on Glancy. Low and away, figure back pick to first. It's been pretty cool temperatures. See what tomorrow brings, and then Thursday, and then Friday. Friday night baseball in Chatham. All the way across the Cape, we gotta go.
We get to go.
The 3-0. In the zone, 3-1. That is a 7 o'clock start time. They're the only team that does a 7 o'clock start. So an hour or a half an hour maybe later than
Not easy to do.
just about every other game. They throw back to first, and it goes away.
Yeah.
Doesn't advance the runner, but it gets away from the first baseman.
DH.
3-1's the count.
Yeah, come on.
This is what the Gatemen have done effectively.
Yeah, he was the best.
Bostic looked like Nolan Ryan in the first 2 innings, but you got to keep the plan. You
Good
got to stick the
stretch there.
plan. You got to continue taking pitches and continue working at bats, and they've done that here in the 3rd.
Cracked up the middle, takes a weird hop. They gotta go to first, and they do. Boy, was that some solid defense at first base. And the throw from the shortstop,
Right
Camarillo.
fielder, number 6,
Well, it hit off
Bobby
the
Poster
pitcher's
from
hand. I
South
think that's
Florida.
why it deflected like that to the shortstop Camarillo, and a great job by him to make the play, get glances by half step. Sometimes if you're Bostic as a pitcher, you got to recognize when you don't have a good chance to field the ball, and you got to let it go to your fielders.
Place go nuts.
I mean, we had a 1-4-3 earlier. That's a 1-6-3.
Yes, that's right.
Took a weird hop off his hand. I think he was trying to barehand it, and it deflected off of his fingers. The 1-0. This is Bobby Bozer, South Florida. Would be a great time for his first Cape League hit, bring in a run, give the Gatemen their first lead of the night. Again, 6 o'clock tomorrow, 5:40 first, 5:43. It's the Orleans Firebirds.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Birds team that's going for their second win of the season tonight. It's the Anglers of Chatham, 2-2. Thin crowd tonight. Not exactly what we had for the home open. 2-2 with 2 out. And here's the pitch. Count goes full again. We talked about the need for Bozer to get more patient in these first 2 at-bats. Yes, he did strike out in the first one, but he is getting more patient. He's working a couple of full counts, getting deep into the counts. That can only lead to good things. 3-2, left center, on a ride, towards the fence, and off the fence. His first Cape League hit is an RBI double. Welcome to the Gatemen, Bobby Bozer. He gets a nice round of applause as his father watches on, and Wareham has taken a 2-1 lead. Well, if anybody ever needed a hit, it was Bobby Bozer right there. Goes through 3 games and an at-bat in a 4th without a hit, but finally gets one. Again, a guy who led South Florida in on-base percentage in the spring. He was due, and then some, and he really gets a nice base hit. I mean, there's a lot of parks, especially on the Cape, where that ball's gone, but in Wareham, he hit it to maybe the deepest part of the park, or close to it.
That was it?
Gets himself an RBI double. That's got to feel like a 2-ton piano off his back.
For sure. It snaps an 0-for-10 streak to start the young season, and that at-bat is really set up by the 2-2 pitch. It's a great slider. It was a pitcher's pitch from Boston that he was able to lay off. And that sets up the 3-2 count. And on the 3-2 count, you obviously don't want to walk, and you got to be more careful. And I believe he got a hanging slider and did not miss it. Bobby Bozer, like you said, a wonderful guy, and he's got to be sitting on second base right now with a smile on his face because it snapped an 0-for-10 streak.
Strike called to Dylan Goldstein. So, by all accounts, second time around in this lineup has gone far more successful than the first. Glancy and Bozer, who both struck out, were able to put the ball in play. Bozer got a hit. This one is Scott foul. If you're Bostick, you got to get off the mound.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Bostick's a JUCO guy, so I think the data and information and the scouting they have on him is a little less complete. And to begin with, in the Cape League, you don't have the detailed scouting reports on a daily basis like you would for some of these college teams. So second time through, these batters are just seeing them more.
Rips one to right. That ball is going to kiss the line and go fair. Rolling to the fence. It's a major hit for Goldstein. Scores Bozer. He goes to third. And he's safe. Dylan Goldstein, RBI triple. And it's 3-1 Wareham.
Goldstein coming into the game for Wareham, the leading hit getter for the Gatemen, and he adds his 5th one of the year. His first triple, though. And once again, Bostick looked really good the first 2 innings, but this Gateman offense, a lot of professional-like hitters, and that they flushed it. Short memories. They come back out in the 3rd. Just because he had a good first 2 innings doesn't mean you got to pack it up and go home for the night. You still got to compete, and they've competed really hard in this 3rd inning and have put 3 runs on the board.
Pitch to Sullivan, fouled off, as they would say in Katuitt. He had a hit. It was a big one too. He was close to an inside the Parker. I mean, that ball was just kind of rolling, and
give it another 5 seconds.
It took Arado a while to get to it. And you could tell, I mean, Goldstein was running like a madman around second base. High swing and a miss from Sullivan, who maybe is a little ahead of himself here, swinging out of his shoes, trying to match what his teammates just did. Bozer scores his first run of the Cape League season. And it's the first triple of the year for the Gatemen. Ooh, that ball just away. Bostick with that hat falling off again. I love his hair. He's got terrific long, I think it's dreads.
He's up in the
looking for the formula.
with the chain. His look is iconic. The 1-2. Taps it foul. Sullivan just shortening up there, trying to stay in the count. Bostic's throwing hard. We should yell down to one of these scouts in between innings, see how fast he's throwing. I mean, he's got to be going mid-90s minimum. 1-2, 2 out. Just slowing outside, 2-2. They've really gotten to Bostic here.
Some more big league takes. Once again, we saw from Bozer, saw from Goldstein, here from Sullivan, getting behind in the count, but digging their way back in. And you got to take close pitches to get in good counts, and you got to get in good counts to have consistent offensive success.
Runner on third, swing and a miss. Sullivan was fooled there by what looked to be a changeup for strike 3, and he's down for the second time. But hey, the Gatemen finally have some hits. They finally have 3 runs. Come on, 3 hits in the inning with no errors, 1 runner left on base. 3 in the books, and Wareham has the lead for the first time. It's 3-1 Gatemen on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Back in Wareham, the Gatemen have the lead for the first time in this Tuesday night affair with Jack Hunter, Amanda Foster. I'm Aiden Blank. Good to be with you, partner, and good to see Spillane hopping a little bit. The offense has been on and off, but it was very much on in that last half inning.
Especially with the extra base hits, too. We haven't seen those.
First pitch rolled through the right side for Will Cook. I beg your pardon. This is Harwich's Kenny Lavari. After grinding out in his first at-bat, gets one through there. Leads off the 4th with a single.
Well, take a look at that last inning. All 3 hits were extra base hits. And coming into this game, the first 3 games, the Gatemen had 4 total.
Seaver King is now the hitter. 1 pitch, 1 base runner for Harwich. Both of these pitchers have seen some struggling. This one is going to find the gap in right center. No, it's caught on the run by DeShorno. Drake's got the speed. He was actually scratched earlier. That is Bobby Bozer out there. How about that? He had a nice little piece of hitting, comes around to score, and then makes a great catch on the run. He's got the speed for the first out.
It's not an easy play. You got to have a big reaction. He made it look kind of easy. That's because his reaction was so great. He was there. He kind of beat the baseball there, and that's Bozer. Was an infielder up until this year at South Florida. They needed him to move to the outfield. He didn't even play right field. He played center field.
Next hitter is Ryan Wilson. He cracks one on the ground. Ooh, a great catch by Murillo at short. Well, the Gatemen are putting on a highlight reel kind of game. Bozer catches it on the run. Murillo catches it on the run. That was a good piece of hitting, too. Those were both really solid hits.
Yeah,
It just couldn't get down because 2 terrific defenders made plays.
You got Seaver King, first team D2 All-American. Ryan Wilson, A10 Player of the Year this year. You got 2 really solid hitters. Putting some good wood on the ball, but you got 7 fielders behind you for a reason.
I know Ryan very well, former Bristol Blue. Called strike in the outer third.
How well? Are you best friends?
No.
Just calling you
Down to the deep south. Oh, see how you do. You know, like he just flies everywhere.
Good kid, though. Very, very nice.
I got him.
And an exceptional ball player, as his accolades would tell you. 0-1. Runner on and 2 out. Very easily could be at least 1 run in right now. Mariners have run into some bad luck. Checked his swing. That's a strike, 0-2. I mean, those hits were placed perfectly. There's nothing else you really could have done. Looks like a quick conference.
Yeah, let's see if Coleman can hunker down on the other side of this. I think they may be trying to break up his rhythm. But what's gotten lost in the Gatemen offense and some good defense is about Picard giving the Gatemen some length. He had about a 25-pitch first inning and able to come back onto the mound and compose himself, get a pickoff to end the second inning.
Well,
get through the third.
Coleman is right now wearing about the biggest smile you could possibly have, and that's always a good thing to see. It's 0-2, 2 out. He's a strike away from ending this thing. Chest high, set, lifts, kicks. And misses high 1 and 2.
Coleman's a great guy. We talked to him a little bit on the field before the game. We have a great roster here in Wareham. Don't really have to worry about this. But there's some players that come here, they think they're kind of above everybody else. Coleman's such a down-to-earth and such a great guy to talk to and be around.
1-2, low 2 and 2. He said he's got a whole bunch of folks here tonight to watch him. Quite a few down the third base side of the grandstands. Even count, 2 out. Off the end of the bat. Is this going to stay fair? No, it won't. Goes foul. Thanks to our great crew at Wareham Community Television, again with us for all 22 home games this season. Hanging with us as we bring you Wareham Gatemen baseball. They'll be with us tomorrow night for Wareham and Orleans. First off day of the season is on Thursday. If anybody has suggestions as to what Jack and I should do on that off day, well, let us know. We don't really know the town yet. Hard crack to third, gets through the 5-6 hole. And 2 runners reach with a pair of outs in the 4th. But yeah, we are still very much in need of something to do on Thursday. I don't know what the weather forecast is, but if you have suggestions, let us know.
Been doing my homework for the Chatham game on Friday.
Okay. We will also likely be going to explore Chatham a little bit before the game on Friday, depending on how early we get there.
They think of that stuff now when you build that.
And then we're back at Falmouth on Saturday. A lot of games against the Doors early. Low strike. Again, there'll be 1 more game against Harwich here and 2 more at White House Field. 4 games against all the East Division opponents this season, 6 against the West.
It's the changeup right there. Picard did not throw it really at all for Bryant this year. A lot of their coaches really love him to spin the ball, but that's something that a pitch he's going to need to develop, especially against these left-handed hitters, something that can break away from those bats a little bit.
1-1. Right side. Can of corn over at second base. And the top of the 4th comes to a conclusion with a 4-3 putout. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and a pair of runners are left on base. Coleman Picard starting to shove as we move along on this Tuesday night. Gatemen on top. A score of 3-1 on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Back from Spillane Field in Wareham. Will Cook leads off with Amanda Foster, Jack Hunter. I'm Aiden Blank, your broadcast team for all 44 broad games in this 2023 regular season and hopefully postseason for Wareham. Ryan Smythe says that's the plan. Play a little postseason baseball. Got to win some games first. Will Cook fouls it away to start the inning. Gatemen put up 3 runs in that last half inning. Seems like for the first time today, they've got Bostick kind of figured out a little bit. You mentioned there may not have been a lot of scouting on him before the game. The count goes 1-1. But clearly, any scouting that was done in their first at-bats, because the second time around in this lineup has been absolutely ridiculous. Ball goes low, 2-1.
Baseball's a game of adjustments. I was talking to Bobby yesterday. I said, Bobby, you going to try to change anything? Just keep to your approach. He says, no, I'm always changing things. It's a game of adjustments. You always got to adjust. And the Gatemen, that's exactly what they've done from the first at-bat to the second at-bat.
Falls off the mound there, 3-1. And for Bostick, I mean, you never want, and you talked about what the scouts are looking for. A lot of them are looking for someone who can rebound, right? Who can take a home run and come back and, get a couple of guys out after that. Swing and a miss, now 3-2. So in many facets, what he does now is even more important than what he was doing when he was retiring 7 in a row. They want to see what he does when facing adversity. And a Gatemen lineup that has started to crank a little bit on him if he can settle himself down in the 1, maybe 2 innings he has left. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He sets at the belt. Wiggles that glove, now lifts and deals. It's high and away. Well, it's not been a great look. 3 of the last 4 batters have reached. Bozer, Goldstein, and now Cook.
Yeah, I think it's just the adjustments by the Gatemen hitters. Obviously, Bostic's stuff has diminished a little bit. I mostly think it's his control, and the Gatemen hitters have not been helping him out. They have not been expanding the zone. The home plate umpire, Joe Gravina, also as well, has kept a very consistent zone on both corners as well. And the Gatemen are working deep counts. They're getting good hitters counts and walking.
First pitch high and tight to Dixon Black. Dixon has made a very good impression so far on both sides of the baseball. Since joining the Gatemen, puts a lot of weight on that back leg. And there's a curveball that he checked his swing on. It's in for a strike.
Dixon, a guy that hit over 300 for Wofford this year, hit much higher for Monmouth the previous 2 years. He's got the hit tool there. It just kind of like Bobby, maybe a little bit of adjustment here to the Cave.
Right center fields. Humphrey positions himself in the sun. Makes the catch. It's an F8.
Shortstop, number 3, Sebastian Murillo from Georgia.
Want to see Sebastian get going here. He's 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts yesterday. And on the season, after a pretty solid opening day, has kind of cooled down a little bit. Only 1 for 10 or 1 for 11 now after the first put out.
Inside ball 1.
And I was talking to Will Cook before the game, and you know, he's saying for a lot of these guys that it's kind of an adjustment to the Cape, not just the pitching wise, but they take a few weeks off, 1-2 weeks before they get here, and it kind of ramp back up facing live pitching again.
2 balls and no strikes. Next game against Harwich will be on June 29th. The Gatemen will go to White House Field. 2-0, runner goes. It is a strike. The throw down is not in time. It goes into center field. Not enough for Cook to advance to third, but he does have himself a stolen base. Gatemen have stolen a lot of bases in this 2023 season.
Yeah, well, and that's another. Brennan had a throw like this earlier. The throw is in time, and the fielder, the throw is just a little short, though. And the shortstop, Camarillo there, unable to corral it. And that's what Ryan Smythe really wants to do on the bases. They want to be aggressive. They showed it in Falmouth game 1. They hadn't had a lot of base runners versus Hyannis, and Katuitt to show it off again. But get on base and try to take the next one.
It's a called strike. No score between Yarmouth Dennis and Falmouth. Interdivisional matchup there. Everything else has stayed the same. Brewster still a 3-2 lead on Hyannis, and Katuitt still up 1-0 on the Braves. The 2-2. Now 3-2.
And our great sideline reporter, Amanda Foster, after opening day, talked with David Glancy. David Glancy said that Ryan Smythe places a lot of emphasis on trying to find a way to get to the next bag, trying to force the issue, be aggressive, and being aggressive on the bases can lead to a lot of things, not just taking the extra base.
He has walked Murillo. And that brings up Kevin Michaels. Well, the last time that Michaels came to the plate, the ball exited into the left center field bleachers. Michaels, the second baseman. The home run to his name, the second Gatemen home run of this season. Takes an inside pitch for a strike.
This could be a great opportunity for Michaels to get going again. We mentioned he had a little bit of a down year in his second year with the Johnnies at St. John and St. John's in his senior year, but already matched his homers from the spring.
Left side, there's one, and there's the double play. Well, Bostick's able to get himself out of it, but definitely looks a little more deflated than the swagger he had earlier. It is a 6-4-3 double play to end an inning in which there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and one runner left on base. Fifth is next on the Gatemen Baseball Network. New inning and a new pitcher for the Gatemen. It's my birthday buddy, my Fairfield buddy, Jack Bowery, coming out to take over. Picard falls just an inning short of being eligible for a win, but exits with a very strong line. Bowery will face the top of the lineup, Humphrey, Camarillo, and Culpepper. So exactly 2 times through for Picard. The first pitch is ball 1 to Humphrey, who has reached twice, a walk and a single. Pitch on the way. Not the worst idea to take Picard out before he faces Humphrey again. Humphrey did some serious damage those first 2 at-bats.
Yeah, Picard was, didn't have his A stuff all day, but the fact he was able to get through 4 innings was really impressive.
2-1 count.
You look at his line, you could tell he did not have his A game. He gave up 5 hits in 4 innings, did not strike out a guy. He struck out over a third of the batters he faced over the course of the year. But, he was able to fight. And he left the game with a 2-run lead for his offense, and he gave them 4 solid innings and now gives way to Bowery.
Bowery was a member of the academic all-academic team in the MAC in this season. 15 games, 7 starts for him for the Red Foxes of Marist. Hammers 1 to center field. And on the back pedal, Glancy makes a catch. He kind of kept going back there, but thankfully that fence is really back there in center field. I believe it's 400 to dead center, so he had a lot of room to make the play.
The scouting report on Jack Bowery, got a fastball, 88 to 91 miles an hour, and then splits it up between a slider and a changeup for his off-speed stuff. Uses a slider a lot against lefties, uses the changeup a lot against the righties. Got a righty here, Camarillo, at the plate.
54 1/3 innings in the spring for him, 49 strikeouts. Full wind, delivers a strike. This is Camarillo, who reached on a fielder's choice in the first and flew out back in the 7th. Ooh. Good little breaking ball there, and Bowery's ahead in the count.
Bowery was a tremendous asset for the Danbury Westerners last summer, making his Cape debut tonight. At a 1.69 ERA, finished 6 games, 32 innings.
Tap to the backstop. We do it again. Shadows have engulfed, roughly 3/4 of the infield here. Most of the outfield still in direct sunlight. The count goes 1-2 on Camarillo. One, two. Left side. Chopper. Charged by Black. Excellent play from Dixon. 2 down. And now here's Kalen Culpepper. Walked in the first and then lined out in the 3rd. So looking for his first hit. The Wildcat. Teammate Kennedy Jones waiting on deck. Glad you're here on a Tuesday night.
And we love mascots. In 2021, Culpepper played for the Norwich Sea Unicorns, FCBL.
How about that? He dinged one of the posts there. Well, the Sea Unicorns are at Dodd Stadium now, which was formerly the home of the Connecticut Tigers, but during that COVID year where a lot of minor league teams got the axe, the Tigers were one of them, and then like many FCBL teams, they went from a minor leagues team into a summer collegiate team. And they also share that stadium with the Mystic Schooners, so there's 2 summer teams playing there, sometimes both on the same day. Scheduling nightmare. The 1-2. Wow. He had Culpepper falling out of the box on that curveball for strike 3. That is just dirty stuff. And filth from Bowery. His first outing of the season has started incredibly well. 1, 2, 3, go the Mariners. Jack will take it the rest of the way as we move along on a Tuesday night here at Spillane Field.
40 years. We look forward to serving you.
Welcome back to Spillane Fields. New pitcher for the Mariners. And to take you the rest of the way, here's Jack.
13, Jimmy
Thank you,
Brennan
Aiden.
from Post
Josh
University.
Bostic also going 4 innings of work, matching Coleman Picard. Picard's final line, by the way, 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 2 walks and 0 strikeouts. Jalen Jones, the southpaw from Ohio State, just finishing his sophomore year, standing at 6'1", 230 pounds. Jimmy Brennan here to meet him, and he takes ball 1. Brennan, a Division II guy at Post University in Connecticut. Second team all CCAC this year. And the 1-0 hits him. So Brennan has now reached base twice in 2 plate appearances.
Center fielder number 11, David Glancy from St.
That'll
John's.
flip the lineup back up to the top with David Glancy. Brennan got an at-bat, his first at-bat with the Gatemen on Sunday night versus the Harbor Hawks, and hit a rocket to left that got caught. First pitch to Glancy, big fastball that misses low. This is his first start, and in his first 2 plate appearances in his first start, walked and scored, and then got hit now on first base, and he'll get checked on. Jones, a 2-pitch guy. He's got a fastball and a sweeping slider from the left side, working from the third base side of the rubber. Heads up. Some chin music at the plate. Glancy diving out of the way. There's one thing that Jones has struggled with through his collegiate career. It has been command. And he pumps in a strike there, but Brennan will move to second on the wild pitch. I stand corrected. It'll be in the book as a pass ball. Tough break there for Brian Arndt behind the plate. But Brennan on second base in scoring position. And that pitch just finds the inside corner to count even. Glancy has started every game. Is now 2 for 15 on the young year. Had a big home run on opening day. Pops one up. The second baseman King out to get it. And that will be out number 1.
Right fielder number 6, Bobby Boser from South Florida.
This is the part of the lineup that did the most damage the last time. Boser and Goldstein really cranked it. Now facing a new pitcher. Let's see if Boser can keep that hit going, keep the hitting going.
The first pitch, fouled back. Anyway, continuing that thought about control issues for Jalen Jones. 22 walks and just over 23 innings of work this year. There was about 50% strikes. The 0-1, inside. And I think my favorite note about Jalen, I don't know how many people can really say this. He has been a student enrolled at both the University of Michigan and Ohio State University.
Probably a crime in both states. I mean, that's an interesting story to tell.
I think he'll
who does he root for
in the
game?
game?
I'm guessing Ohio State.
Yeah.
He goes there now, but
crime in both states, but maybe forgivable in Columbus now that he's pitching for him.
That's going to Arizona and Arizona State. You don't do it. You pick one. Hopefully the right one.
It happens. I mean, look, future Gateman Yoel Tejeda announcing he's transferring from Florida to Florida State. And
That's true.
These days with the transfer portal, nothing's off limits. He's behind 3-1, and he gets back with a fastball on the outer third.
I would actually consider Miami, Florida State a little bit bigger rivalry than Florida versus Florida State, especially in baseball. But I could see the argument for the opposite.
The payoff. High ball 4, and Bobby Bozer has reached base for the second consecutive plate appearance.
Mostly because Miami and Florida State play every year in everything. It's a conference matchup.
So how about Bobby Bozer? Starts the season 0 for 10, and in his last 2 plate appearances has shown some great plate discipline, ripped a double that split the left center field gap in the 3rd and walked, and now here's Goldstein to face a lefty.
He gets a nice, sizable lead. Ryan Wilson lets him go very far out at first.
Well, with Brendan on at second, Wilson is not holding him on at first. Bozer swiped some bags for the Bulls this past year, but bound by the catcher Brendan at second. The 0-1. Goldstein thinks about it. The third base umpire who is positioned in front of the shortstop Camarillo, Timothy Rosso, hey, a familiar face. He was behind the home plate with us at Lowell Park last night, says no swing. An excuse me swing. Back to the mound. Jones is going to go for third. Gets the easy out and the lead runner. That'll go a 1-5 fielder's choice for the second out of the inning.
Designated hitter number 36, Cade Sullivan from Western Michigan.
So still 2 runners on. This time 2 outs, and this time Cade Sullivan to the dish, looking to make contact for the first time today. 0 for 2 with 2 punch-outs, but he's got a new pitcher on the mound to face here right now with Jones. He takes a hearty hack and swings through strike 1. The game temporarily stopped. And I believe we're going to have some medical attention with Goldstein at first. Looks like he might be cramping up a little bit. And Ryan Smythe, who Aiden pointed to me before the game, is rocking the game uniform for the first time.
He's showing off tonight. Got to change something out after 2 straight losses, and boy, it's sharp.
It's a look.
I don't know if he listens to our broadcast, but if he is, he'll appreciate us complimenting. He looks sharp.
Jones is going to take some tosses to stay loose. In case you're just joining us alongside Aiden Blank, Jack Hunter here with you on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We're here in the bottom of the 5th in a 3-1 ball game. Ryan Smythe and the training staff out to look at Dylan Goldstein at first base. He's cramping up, it appears. Mid at bat, pause. Wareham has got 3 hits. They've got 3 runs. They've committed 1 error. And then on the visiting side, the Mariners with 1 run on 5 hits. Something worth monitoring tonight is the game durations of all 5 matchups. For the first time in the young 2023 season yesterday, all Cape games played finished in under 3 hours, and 2 games finished sub 2 hours and 10 minutes.
And as we noted in the game notes today, the Tuitt game last night happened to be the shortest game of the season so far.
So Goldstein's going to have to leave the game. CJ Funk is on to run for him.
Pinch runner at first base for
It'll be interesting to see what the situation is substitution-wise.
From the University of Pittsburgh.
Like Goldstein's leg just tightened up. So it seems like a natural transition. Funk started in left field yesterday. Yep. And Goldstein, who is playing left field, will be replaced. Back to action here. 0 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs in the inning. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Sullivan seeing the ball well. Count now even.
And if you're Funk, it's a good opportunity to prove yourself. You didn't think you were going to get in the game. You're thrown in at the last minute. There's a great chance to prove yourself to Ryan Smythe, prove your value to this team. If you come in, run the bases, maybe get an at bat.
Sullivan tardy on the fastball. The Gatemen scored 3 runs in the bottom of the third thanks to 3 extra base hits. Kevin Michaels led things off with a homer, and then back-to-back extra base hits from Bozer and Goldstein. The Gatemen, they're starting off slow. Went 3 up, 3 down twice in the first 2 frames. Have rebounded nicely. A nasty slider gets Sullivan swinging, and that will be the inning. 2 runners get left, no hits, no runs. We go now to the 6th with Wareham up 3-1 here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Wareham House of Pizza has been
Fielder number 27, Kennedy Jones.
Kennedy Jones will get things started in the 6th. Jack Bowery still out on the mound. It's the Gatemen and the Mariners. Game 4 of the Young Cape Cod Baseball League season. A little interleague play here tonight. Jones will take strike 1. Harwich is at the top of the East Division standings. As Funk is going to stay in the game in left field, by the way. Need to give you that note. And the slider swung through by Jones. Jones, first team All-Southern Conference guy with the Spartans of UNC Greensboro, is now in the transfer portal after a really strong season, an undergraduate transfer, and he's going to go down swinging. A nice changeup from Bowery. 2 straight strikeouts for the Marist Red Fox.
Third baseman number 7, Kenny Lavari.
And now Lavari to the plate.
Bowery's dealing. Be interesting. I'm sure he'll get some starts over the summer. Jones is 0 for 3. But I'll be curious to see if Bowery becomes a starter or if they like him in this bullpen role, because he can be a long reliever if they need him to be. It just depends on what you have in the form of starting pitching.
A quick 0 ball and 2 strike count. Fastball first pitch. Pulled the string with the slider on number 2. It's Bowery and Lavari. Bowery trying to dig a slider. Job by Brennan to stop it. But Lavari lays off. Lavari out of Old Dominion University, who just completed their first year in the Sun Belt Conference. You talk about just a brutal conference to play in. Safe to say that's mid-major's best baseball conference. Brush him away with the fastball. Chop to second. Michaels gets a nice hop, and that'll be this second out. So 5 up, 5 down for Jack Bowery. Bowery's a guy that is looking to bounce back from kind of a tough spring for Marist. We talked about his prowess with the Danbury Westerners in the NECBL last summer, pitching to a 1.69 ERA in 32 innings of work. Had an 8.78 ERA this past spring. Is going after Seaver King here. Kind of a cool matchup in the batter's box right now. Chop to second. And we'll continue that thought on the other side. So no runs, no hits, no run, and nobody left. No errors. And we head now to the bottom of the 6th inning. Wareham still holding on to the 3-1 advantage. Just a splendid day for baseball here at Spillane Field. The sun about to start setting as we get past the 7:30 hour here on the East Coast. 65 degrees here in Wareham. Alongside Aiden Blank, Jack Hunter with you as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Cook, Black, and Murillo duo. And to finish my thought from the prior inning, Seaver King, D2 All-American at Wingate. Jimmy Brennan behind the plate, a pretty solid D2 player himself, a career 370 hitter at Post University. So a cool little connection there. And Jones will start Cook off with a fastball for a strike.
Cook with a walk in his last at bat. Ground out. As we mentioned, making a start at first base, which we'll find out how common it becomes over the summer, but so far, fairly rare.
Played first base a lot for the Cardinals this past year when he did play, and he swings through the breaking ball. He did want me to note on the broadcast today that back when him and Will Koger, Gateman pitcher, were both two-way players, Cook pitched against Koger before the start of the 2022 season, and he wanted me to tell everybody that Will Koger decided to try to bunt for a hit against him. How about that?
they call it the cheap way out.
I'm going to have to talk to Will about that.
I don't know how much hitting Koger did in high school, but I can't imagine.
He came to Louisville as a two-way player. Both of them did. And both of them now have diverted to focusing on their one thing. Koger, a pitcher. We saw him yesterday. Cook hitting. And he bloops the 2-2 pitch into center. Humphrey, hat off, makes the grab for out number 1.
What is it with all these Harwich players losing their hats tonight?
It's still early in the season. I feel like a lot of these guys are still trying to figure out their jersey sizes, get their hats fitting right. Here's Dixon Black. Black, a Wofford Terrier. Lucas Malstead, his teammate, now activated on the Gatemen roster. So he's got a friend. And he spits on ball 1. Jalen Jones in his second inning of work, relieving Josh Bostic. And he almost gets hit, but able to get out of the way of it. Dixon's still looking for his first hit here on the Cape. A guy that was not here for opening day. This is only his 7th at bat. And he's worked himself a 3-0 count. Dixon has been able to get himself on base and be productive in other ways, though. Solid glove at third. He's walked twice as well in his short stay. This is his 3rd game. And he works a 1-out walk. Make that 3 walks on the young season for Dixon.
Shortstop, number 3, Sebastian Murillo.
And here's Sebastian Murillo. Murillo was a late add to the lineup today. We were talking about DiGiorno being a late scratch. And we've talked to manager Ryan Smythe all year about how valuable it is to have versatile guys, because the lineup really wasn't shifted that much. Murillo did get added, but all they had to do was put Bozer from shortstop to right field and then put Murillo in at short. The Georgia Bulldog, after spending 2 years at Long Beach State, will have to wait a little bit. If there's anybody ready to hit in Cape pitching, it would be Murillo. And just a tick under 270 for Georgia in his first year in the SEC. In that conference, let me tell you, got a lot of pitchers. Runner goes, hit and run, and Murillo will swat it off. Black is going to have to look back in disappointment. I think he thought he had that one stolen. Both teams on their second pitcher of the night. Jones, the southpaw from Ohio State University. He had a 7.04 ERA with the Buckeyes this year, but a much stronger start to the year allowed him to be here. Really established himself in his sophomore year. Had 12 scoreless appearances through his first 13 relief outings. Dixon Black is picked off, but he's going to get to second as Wilson delivered a wide throw to Camarillo.
Heads up base running. I'll let you know when I do the game notes later, but I'm sure Dixon leads the team in walks.
I can find that out. But Dixon's going to get credited for the stolen base.
Yeah. Gatemen have stolen a lot of bases.
Lined into left field for a base hit. Black got a late jump on it, but he's going to be sent. The throw to the plate is cut off, and both runners are going to be safe. There was going to be a play at the plate. And Lavari at third base made the business decision to cut it off, and they couldn't even get Murillo at second. So an RBI single for Sebastian Murillo advances to second on the throw. And it's 4-1.
And the Gatemen have pulled ahead against, again, a Harwich team that has really hit the ball well.
Black is in a few-way tie with 3 walks, so he needs one more to separate himself. Michaels will take ball 1.
Well, he's also been here one less game than everybody else.
So if you're looking at like a rate,
he didn't join us till game 2 of the season against Hyannis.
Sebastian Murillo, the guy on second, is one of the guys tied with him. If you're looking at walk rate, maybe we could go there. 1-0, outside. Coleman Picard did not go the minimum 5 innings to be in line for a win, even though he left the game with a 3-1 lead. Bowery, the guy on the mound right now, a candidate. Michaels cuts through the 2-0 fastball.
Ket still hanging on to a 1-0 lead against Bourne. Good battle in the West. And Brewster now has a 4-2 lead on Hyannis. Chatham and Orleans scoreless. That game is at Chatham, so it started about 41 minutes ago at 7 o'clock. And then YD and Falmouth still scoreless. A lot of pitchers duels going on tonight in the Cape League. The biggest, highest scoring game has been Brewster and Hyannis.
Pretty similar way last night, too. There was a first few days of the season, there was a lot of runs scored, which turned a lot of heads. The past few days, I feel like we've gotten back to more Cape League baseball. Full count here at the dish. And once again, another walk from Jalen Jones. This time, Kevin Michaels, who has now reached base twice today.
Catcher number 13, Jimmy
2 runners
Brennan
on for Jimmy
from
Brennan,
University.
who has reached base twice on 2 free passes today. Walked in the 3rd, got hit in the 5th. Jimmy Brennan, a career 370 hitter for post. Wastes no time, cracks it into center, but Humphrey barely had to move. So another hard hit out. And on the season, Brennan's now 0 for 2 with 2 very hard hit baseballs to the outfield.
Center fielder,
yeah, that ball
11, David
just in the wrong
from
place.
St.
I mean, he hit it more than hard enough, just in the wrong space. Now back to the top of the order, a 4th at bat for Glancy. As opposed to yesterday, nobody got more than 4 at bats. Glancy's getting a 4th at bat, probably gets a 5th at this rate.
Be a good time for David to get going. He's now in the leadoff spot for the 2nd time this year. Murillo held it yesterday. Bozer, the guy to lead it off on opening day. Slider outside. Once again, the knock on Jones is a command. Low strike rate this year for Ohio State. High walk total, averaging about a walk an inning. Trying to get back into it here.
I'll go.
2-1 inside. Be interested to see what the attendance number on this game is. We've seen some great crowds so far. Katuitt yesterday was over 1,200 people. Spillane Field, the home opener, over 1,100. The 3-1 misses, another walk. The Gatemen will take all the free passes they can get here in the bottom of the 6th. That's 3 walks in the inning.
Right fielder number 6, Bobby Boser from South
A
Florida.
little bit of a smaller crowd tonight. It is a school night, Tuesday night. School still wrapping up here up in New England. Here's Bozer looking to extend his great night. Bags juice. And that pitch traveled about 58 feet. CJ Funk, who replaced Goldstein the previous inning, is on deck. Might be a more natural matchup, the righty on deck. Some tossing going on in the hidden Harwich bullpen over the right field fence. Bobby's got a chance to put a dent in this ball game. The Gatemen scored 3 in the bottom of the third. He looks at the 1-0 slider. Harwich tied for first in the East. Wareham in 4th place with 2 points in the West. Bozer spits on the slider, now a 2-1 count. Bobby's done that tonight. He's worked himself into better counts. Sees another slider. Murillo is on third. Michaels on second. Delancey at first. Delancey's got good speed over there. And that one's going to get past Arndt. Behind the dish, Murillo coming to score. Delancey and Brennan moving up 90 feet apiece. So, excuse me, Michaels is the one that moves up to third. Two runs in the inning for Wareham. An RBI single from Murillo. In the wild pitch, and Bozer gets out of the way of it and will trot down to first. He's now reached base 3 times today. 4 walks in the inning for Jalen Jones.
Left fielder, number 39, C.J. Funk from the University of
Steve
Pittsburgh.
Englert, the Mariners manager, on the top step of the dugout. And that looks to be all for the rising junior, Jalen Jones.
Yeah, this is a tough situation to come in. Wareham is a big hit away from blowing this thing open.
Prolonged conference at the mound. And look, this may just be a pep talk, but I'd imagine with the bases loaded, yep, there's the call. I'd imagine with the bases loaded, they're not going to take any chances here in a crucial spot in this game. This game's starting to slip away from Harwich a little bit in the bottom of the 6th.
It was 3-1 entering the inning rather. It's now 5-1. I mean, this is, you're right, slipping away. One base hit, and this thing is going to be really tough to come back from.
It looks like the new pitcher is going to be Shane Cronin, 6'1", 230-pound senior from Assumption, another D2 school in the Northeast 10 Conference. We're going to take a quick break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. When we come back, we'll tell you about Shane, and we'll tell you about the Gatemen batting lineup due up with 2 outs in the inning. Shane Cronin from nearby Assumption is on the mound in Worcester. Into a jam here with the bases loaded. Funk at the plate. A big loopy curveball begins his evening. Fastball, changeup, and curveball mostly the arsenal for Cronin. An occasional slider. Funk, first at bat of the evening. And he's now in a 2-0 count.
Remember, Funk is replacing Dylan Goldstein, who was injured, cramped up. We'll have to investigate what that was about. See if he's in the lineup tomorrow. Should be. I don't think it seemed crazy serious.
3 straight balls to start his outing.
Well, walks is what killed him in the first place. You know, want to start off with a walk here.
You know, avoid it at least for one more pitch. Now, 3-1 count to Funk. The Gatemen looking to add on to their 2 runs in the inning. They've worked 4 walks. Murillo has the only hit. And make it 5 walks. The Gatemen get another run across. Everybody moves up 90 feet, including Funk, who gets himself a free RBI.
Well, if there's one guy you don't want with the bases loaded, it's Cade Sullivan.
And he looks at a first pitch curveball.
He had one of the hits yesterday, one of the few, and it was just a screamer to the right field fence. He does that here, probably clears the bases. He would love one.
He looks at the 1-0 fastball.
And of course, he set the single-season home run record, or tied it, at Western Michigan. That would be the ideal outcome of this at-bat.
1-1 changeup, misses low.
Give him credit, though. The last couple of at-bats come up a little bit, unlike him, swinging out of his shoes. He's patient here. He's waiting for his pitch.
He sends a mile-high fly ball to center field. Humphrey coming on, and he will make the grab. So Wareham gets home 3 runs in the inning off of only 1 hit. 5 walks in the midst of that. The Gatemen leave 3 runners on. We go to the 7th, 6-1 Wareham here from Spillane Field. Jack Bowery out for his 3rd inning of work. It's been kind of a juxtaposition of how these 2 pitching staffs have fared today, especially in this current state of the game. We saw 5 Gatemen batters walk in the last inning, 3 of them come across. And Jack Bowery has faced the minimum through 2 innings and has done so very effortlessly.
Well, and it's strange because after the first 2-3 innings, you thought, oh, Harwich has got this down. If they can get a reasonable outing in their bullpen, this game is going to be very long for the Gatemen. But Wareham has turned it around. This offense has proven time and time again they can hit, and they can hit very well. And, well, a 6-1 lead to prove it. They've had good offense and good defense. For the most part, they haven't really gone together this season. This would be the first time they put together a complete game in which the offense and the defense were really clicking.
The 1-2 popped out of play again. Wilson, a draft-eligible guy for Davidson. I'm assuming he's going to get some looks this year.
Sure.
Conference Player of the Year, well over a 1 OPS, almost 1.3. And deja vu for the 3rd time. Fouled off, same spot. Still looking for his first extra base hit of the summer. After slugging .737 for Davidson. We saw his catching counterpart, Michael Carrico, yesterday for Katuitt. Fisted to short, right at Murillo for out number 1. Have 2 Davidson guys off the board pretty quickly in the July draft. You've got the Conference Player of the Year last year, the Conference Player of the Year this year.
Catcher number 11, Brian Ardent from UNC Wilmington.
Not to take anything away from Wilson's year, but Carrico, if he didn't break his wrist and miss 2 months, the current Katuitt catcher probably would have repeated.
Absolutely.
First pitch fouled back to the screen from Arndt. Arndt splitting catching duties. He did not play yesterday. From UNC Wilmington. In the Big South. Bowery quickly ahead. He set down 7 straight Mariners throughout his outing. Through 2 1/3. Chop to short. The big Sunday hop for Michaels. Quick out of the glove. And the 2nd out. Make it 8. This will be the last batter that Bowery has faced for the first time. It's Eric Arado, the right fielder.
Let's see if they give Bowery another chance to go around the lineup.
Illinois.
If he can retire Arado here, I wouldn't be shocked if they get one more arm to go the 8th and the 9th. Especially since Bowery's kind of right on the cusp. He could start within a week or so if you really wanted him to. But if you use him much longer, it's going to take at least a week to get him fully reset.
1-1. Changeup misses low. Arado, we talked about, has played every position except for catcher since he began his college career in 2021 with Northern Illinois in the MAC. Now 2-2 count. Also has a very keen eye at the plate. 51 walks this year in 53 games compared to just 39 strikeouts. and will stay alive here.
We got our first final of the night. Brewster 4, Hyannis 2. Good game for the Whitecaps. 6-1 Wareham right now. No score between YD and Falmouth. They are chugging along. Anglers have a 1-0 lead on Orleans.
Fouled away. So Arado at the plate, just crunch some numbers here. Walked in over 20% of his plate appearances this year. And he sends one over Dixon's black head down the left field line. The ball kind of dies in the grass, so Arado is going to have a double, or will he? He will. A close play, a good throw by Funk.
Oh, I don't know about that. The throw beat him. I thought the tag did too.
Center fielder number 36, Jacob Humphrey from UMass Lowell.
The first blemish on Bowery's line today. It's a double with 2 outs from Eric Arado. Now back to the top, and Jacob Humphrey. The center fielder is 1 for 2 on the day. No, 1 for 3. And he takes the first pitch low. Gatemen are lucky not to be seeing Hunter Fitzgerald tonight, the big, sweet swinging lefty from Old Dominion. He's getting the night off for Harwich. Poked through the middle of base hit. Going to be a close play at the plate. Glancy's throw, the tag, got him! David Glancy pulling out the hose and spraying Arado down at the plate. And that'll be all for the Manners in the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch things out here at Spillane Field. It's still a big Wareham Gatemen lead, 6-1 as we stretch it out.
Fans of Gatemen would like to thank Cool Cone for providing tonight's post-game meal to the Gatemen. And now, fans, it's time to get your 50-50 tickets out as we are going to be announcing the winning numbers. You can bring your winning ticket to the merchandise stand at the bottom of the press box to claim your prize. First prize up tonight, the Highline Canal Cruise. Winning ticket number is 028173. Repeating, 028173. The Highline Harbor Cruise. Winning ticket number 027946. 027946. $15 gift card to Seconds Count. Ticket number 591400. Again, 591400. We will announce the remaining prizes at the end of the 7th inning.
Welcome back to Spillane Field after David Clancy with a big-time play in center field. Will Cook for the 2nd straight inning leads us off. And Cronin's first pitch, chopped to second. King waits on the slow bounce. And 1 pitch, 1 out for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 7th. Cook still hitless today.
Third baseman, number 28, Dixon.
Talked to him before the game. He said it's a great feeling to be here in Wareham. Was supposed to be here last year, but couldn't due to a torn labrum. Dixon Black with a perfectly placed bunt. Cronin's throw is going to be way late, and it's going to pull the first baseman Wilson off the bag. How about that from Dixon Black? Get himself his first K hit.
Hey, anyway, I mean, that was a perfect bunt. And the grass was, again, freshly mowed before the game. I mean, that thing just pretty much died. It was a really, really good bunt. Way to get on. I mean, 6 runs on 5 hits right now for the Gatemen. They've really bitten into the Harwich pitching staff, who, for the most part this season, has been really good.
2nd in the league in ERA with a 2.66 ERA coming into today. Chopped to short. Camarillo to 2nd for 1. King's turn. Dug out by Wilson. A beauty of a 6-4-3 double play to end the Gateman rally in the 7th. A quick 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 8th, 6-1. Lucas Malstead is the third pitcher of the night for the Gatemen, arriving yesterday and quickly activated. And the Gatemen will turn to the righty sidearm slinger here in the top of the 8th. Alongside Aiden Blank, Jack Hunter with you. Jack Bowery pitching a pretty solid outing, Aiden.
Yeah, he goes 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and 10 batters faced. It's a darn good night for him. He had a good defense backing him up. Defense really feels clean tonight. But
Shortstop number 30, Ali Camarillo
if Bowery
from CSU Northridge.
If Bowery can turn around and turn this into a start, you can't complain about that. I would guess within the next week or maybe week and a half, he does get a start.
Well, Lucas Malstead ready to make his Gateman debut. First team SoCon pitcher this year. The reliever fires a first pitch strike in there to Camarillo. Camarillo 0 for 3 on the day. Very tall stance. And a sweeping slider bleeds off the plate. Malstead led the SoCon, a notorious hitting conference, with an ERA of 2.69. I think maybe my favorite note about Lucas, led the country this year in innings pitched by a reliever. 77 innings pitched. And he now has an even count.
And you can tell by his windup, he's got that rubber arm.
Well,
Be an invaluable asset for the Gatemen if he can pitch well this summer, which so far he has.
A front door breaking ball retires Camarillo. And Lucas Malstead has his first out here in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Designated hitter number 18,
throws him with the slider.
Culpepper from Kansas State.
Camarillo has struggled, only reached base once, retired 3 times.
And those 77 innings were at the end of the regular season, too. Ended up getting to 83 2/3 innings with that crazy SoCon tournament. A similar looking pitch, a front door breaking ball to Kalen Culpepper. Culpepper, 0 for 2, walked. Sinker misses down. Culpepper was 1 point away from having a 1 OPS. Deflected off the mask of Brennan, who pops up.
The movement on that pitch, wow.
He wanted Joe Gravina to know that he was okay. Yeah, I mean, Malstead's got that Frisbee slider working. The 1-2 popped up. First base side. Cook and Malstead raging over. Cook the one to take it for out number 2. We've seen a few Terriers here at the Cape. Ryan Galaney, SoCon Player of the Year at third base yesterday for Katuitt. Dixon Black here at third for the Gatemen. On the mound, Lucas Malstead. And a little SoCon on SoCon battle here with Kennedy Jones, the Spartan from UNC Greensboro. Golfs a fly ball to left field. Funk moving in. And Malstead the one to win it. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th, the 1-2-3 inning in his Gateman debut for Lucas Malstead. It's still 6-1 Wareham on the Gateman Baseball Network. 8-9-1 due up for the Gatemen in what they hope to be their last hacks of the evening as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Thanks for joining us tonight here. It's a beautiful night in Wareham. The sun about 8 minutes from setting. And Kevin Michaels will get hit, and he's now been on base 3 times tonight. I didn't even get to talk about how impressive the bottom of the lineup has been before Michaels reached base again.
Number 13, Jimmy Brennan.
Last 3 guys have been on base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
That'll play.
Murillo, Michaels, Brennan, and that one nearly hit him again. We should note there were last-minute lineup changes, right? With DiGiorno coming out, I mean, there was a little bit of moving around. I don't think Murillo was expecting to start. He wasn't in the original lineup. They've been really good.
Gets past Arndt. Michaels will take a little bit of a turnaround second.
Gatemen, after yesterday barely scratching off a couple of hits, the offense has come back. In 3 of 4 games, the offense has been solid. It's clear if you can hold the opponents, if the defense can hold the opponents to a reasonable number, keep them under 3 or 4, or even 5, you're more likely than not winning the game.
3-0 pitch gets across. The defense has been good for the Gatemen all year. The pitching staff really coming along in the last few games. The only blemish really defensively for the Gatemen this season were the 2 throwing errors by Caleb Pendleton yesterday. The 3-1 misses, and that's Jimmy Brennan's 3rd time reaching base tonight.
8 times on base for the bottom 3.
Center fielder number 11, David Glancy from St. John's.
They've gotten on base 8 times in 12 at-bats. That's a very impressive statistic.
A lot of plate appearances being registered tonight for the Gatemen. Not a lot of at-bats with a number of walks and hit batters. Now double-digit walks for the Mariners, 10. Gatemen have made them pay sparingly, but not really cracked this game open with a big extra base hit. Glancy trying to change it. He's now down in the count, 0 balls and 2 strikes to Sean Cronin. The 0-2. Chop to third. Cut off by the shortstop Camarillo, but he'll have no play. So it'll keep Michaels at third base, but now the bases are loaded.
Right fielder number 6, Bobby Boser from
Infield single for David Glancy. It's his first one of the evening to snap a little bit of a dry spell. Boser has one of the 3 extra base hits tonight, which all came in the 3rd inning. He took a big hack and fouled that one back. Doubled in the 3rd, walked in the 5th and the 6th. Harwich playing pretty straight up. Lavari, the 3rd baseman, level with the bag. That changeup just misses off the outside corner. Joe Gravina on the call. Timothy Rosso at 3rd. Chris Kane at 1st. Once again missing, this time low. These Harwich pitchers just creating a mess of their own tonight. Cannot throw strikes. And the Gatemen will get another run out of it. 11 walks on the evening. Boser has now coaxed 3.
Well, I think we found out what the first headline in the game notes is going to be tomorrow. Walk this way.
Well, it's a big change from yesterday. The Gatemen only had 2 hits yesterday. They only walked 1 time, and that really wasn't the fault of their own. Isaiah Coupe, Terry Bussey, Ben Grable, the 3 guys that went for Katuit, all had incredible outings.
Bobby's walked 3 times. He's been on base his last 4 times. How about that? Good to see our friend Bobby Boser back. He struggled a little, but we knew it was only a matter of time, and now he's just exploded on the scene.
We've been waiting for the past few innings the Gatemen to blow this game completely open.
I don't know if this is one of those nights. I mean, it could be, a hit here and it's going to get really ugly, but they've kind of incrementally been just pulling away.
Finally a strike.
ever since they scored 3 runs in, what was it, the third inning, they've kind of been gradually pulling themselves away.
Well, they've only scored in 2 innings tonight. Now make it 3 with this one in the 8th. Funk's got a hitter's count if he does choose to be aggressive. He does. Takes a big hack. Cade Sullivan on deck. He came to the plate with the bases loaded and popped out to end the 6th. High fly ball to left field. Back at the wall, a grand slam. That one clears everything. There it is. C.J. Funk. Kiss it goodbye. How about C.J. Funk coming in the game to replace an injured Dylan Goldstein? And he cracks one over the fence.
Designated hitter number 36, Cade Sullivan.
It's all smiles here at Spillane Field. It's now an 11-1 lead for Wareham. Sullivan swings at the first pitch, bloops it to the second baseman, Seaver King, who makes the long-anticipated first out of the inning.
Oh, I told you it was blowing open.
Number 45,
How about Falmouth and YD? YD has a 6-1 lead now. They were tied at no score like a couple minutes ago. Just exploded.
So Wareham.
Although,
go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. You're calling the action here. I'm just checking the scoreboard.
Wareham's had a good introduction to inter-league play.
Sure.
First 3 games of the year against West opponents.
And another one tomorrow. Well, another one against an East opponent tomorrow.
The first game against an East opponent tonight, and it's treated them well. Sky-high fly ball. Jones is actually going to have a play on this one, and he makes the grab for out number 2.
And they'll get, it's actually going to be 3 straight against East Division opponents with an off day in between because Chatham on Friday, and then West action over the weekend with Bourne coming to town on Sunday, trip to Falmouth again on Saturday. But what I was saying earlier was there's 2 games going on between YD and Falmouth right now. I have one saying YD's leading 3-0 and another saying they're leading 6-1. So we may have to investigate that a little. There's 2 point streak games going on. Interesting, like a split squad in spring training.
Here's Dixon Black.
I don't think any of these teams have enough players to be doing split squad.
Not at this current moment in the season. Thinks about swinging at the changeup, lays it off.
Well, we know Brewster won earlier. Katuitt's hanging on 1-0 in a pitcher's duel with Bourne, trying to spoil the Braves' championship celebration.
By the end of the night, Katuitt probably going to leapfrog Harwich in the ERA department. Now Black's got a hitter's count. And he unloads on that baseball. Down the left field line, Jones has been busy this inning. He digs it out. Dixon Black into second sliding. And now Dixon Black with 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats.
So now a very important question for you, Jack. With Sebastian Murillo coming to the plate, have they batted around, or does Kevin Michaels need to come to the plate for them to bat around?
I think Kevin Michaels needs to come back to the plate for them to bat around. That's just
I would agree with you on that. Murillo's going to be the 9th batter in this inning regardless.
Shane Cronin's still out there for the Mariners.
At this point, Harwich just needs bodies to, eat up some innings for them.
Murillo finds the right field. Coming around and scoring is Dixon Black. And Murillo once again moving into second. Sebastian Murillo has been on one tonight. Let's keep it moving. 6 in the bottom of the 8th. It's now 12-1.
Well, now they batted around.
Second baseman, number 19, Kevin Michaels.
No debate about it. Kevin Michaels back to the dish.
Think it's safe to put this at bat in the 10th inning column in my scorebook? I hope we're not going to need a 10th inning tonight.
I think you put it in the 9th inning at this point. I don't know. Long game. And this will be
true.
all.
Just to be safe.
So a tough outing on the mound here today for Shane Cronin out of Assumption. He's going to leave this game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Take a quick break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to Harwich's new pitcher. Kevin Michaels back to the plate. He is the 10th batter of the inning for Wareham. Led off, got hit to begin the bottom of the 8th. Dylan Del Vecchio, the new pitcher for Harwich, the lefty out of Tarleton State, transfer from Palomar College. Played 2 years there. Double-digit appearances in his first year with Tarleton State. Bloop down the right field line, going to be a tough play for Irado, but he makes it. And that will be the end of a long inning for the Gatemen. They get across 6 times off of 4 hits with 0 errors. And now we go to the 9th inning. It's Wareham 12, Harwich 1. Stay with us here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Kyle Demai, for the first time in a Wareham Gatemen uniform, will step to the mound in the 9th inning, relieving Lucas Malstead after a nice, perfect inning in his Wareham debut. Demai is the 4th pitcher of the night, just finishing his sophomore year at the University of Pittsburgh. He'll be greeted by Kenny Lavari. And his first pitch fouled back right our way. Demai's been sparingly used in his first 2 seasons with the Panthers, only 11 times in 2022 and 23. The 0-1, swing and a miss. Demai, low 90s fastball, a changeup, and a slow, slurvy curveball. Popped up on the infield. Murillo comes all the way to Kevin Michaels' position just to make the grab.
Did you just make up a new word, slurvy?
Well, the word slurve exists.
Right.
Well,
I guess, yeah.
Maybe slurve, maybe if we're transcribing this broadcast, slurve-y, slurve-e.
Okay.
So a pop out to the shortstop Murillo, well on the other side of the bag. First pitch, a pop-up. The right fielder Bozer cannot find it. Michaels going out. He makes a nice catch. This time he can take it for out number 2. So Demai has not had to do much on the mound. Just a few pitches to get 2 outs. And now our last hope for Harwich is Ryan Wilson.
Post-game meals are coming out. Did we think, what was it tonight?
I don't know. I think it's very elaborate at home. The first pitch, there's that slurve-e curveball. Misses to Wilson.
We've been fed incredibly well here.
Have we indeed. Hit incredibly hard down the left field line. Wilson going to turn the bag at first. He'll have a double as Funk digs it out. Mariners not dead yet. Ryan Wilson with his 2nd hit of the evening.
Yeah, Wilson's had himself a good night, a single and a double. Offensively, it's not been terrible for Harwich. You know, they haven't been able to get runners across the plate, but they've gotten a lot of runners on base. They do have 7 hits. I don't think it's the worst night for the Bats. They just need to work on bringing those runners around. And they will be home again tomorrow. They've had a lot of home games early to face the Bourne Braves.
First pitch high.
Definitely have the geographical advantage there. Bourne's got to come just a little bit less of a travel for Bourne to Harwich than it would be for us. And again, we'll be there in a couple of weeks.
It's been a big turnaround for the Gatemen pitching staff over the last 2 games now. First 2 games, they walked 16 combined batters. They walked 5 yesterday, and have only walked 2 today. So if that stands, cutting that number in half and then some. The 2-0 just misses. And if Demai loses them, it'll be A more even number. Gatemen still trying to find themselves early in the season. Only in game 4 of 44. Demai will lose Arndt. Now down to the bottom of the order, Inarado.
Just need one more out here.
Right field, number 14,
Ryan Smythe is just ready to finish.
Northern Illinois.
Hirado from the left side was involved in, I think, one of the top 2 plays of this game. Got cut down at home plate. A great throw by David Glancy. Swings and misses on a first pitch fastball from Demai. Demai pitched in the Valley League last year with Strasburg. Now 1-1 count.
Quiet night here at home. A lot of fans have left. I can see a total of 2 bodies in the outfield bleachers.
The faithful have stuck around.
Sure. Couple of bodies on the Mariners side of things. Most of the fans still on the third base side. Just ready to go home. Come back tomorrow. Do it again.
It's the beauty of baseball.
Oh, yes.
Swing and a miss. That's what the Gatemen have done. It was a tough one yesterday. It was maybe even a tougher one the day before.
Hey, they haven't had a streak this season. Oh, you're right. They did lose 2. But, again, 2 teams coming all the way across the Cape. You got to use that to your advantage. They so far have.
2-2 inside. See, I think a true streak starts at 3.
Okay.
Obviously, like, you can put L2 or W2.
Right.
I think a truly recognizable streak starts at 3. Gatemen looking to start one of their own here. Hirado waiting on the full count pitch from Demai. Here it is. Fouled out of play. Orleans coming to town tomorrow night before the Gatemen have a day off on Thursday, assuming the weather can hold off. Hirado, the Husky of Northern Illinois, facing off against Demai from Pitt. Set up the letters. Here it is again. He misses high, and the bases are loaded. 2 walks in the inning for Demai. Hopefully he didn't hear me talking about how in command the pitching staff has been.
Center fielder, number 36, Jacob Humphrey from UMass Lowell.
Humphrey has been on base 3 times today. From the right side, he pops the first pitch out of play. This game has been very high scoring, at least in the home department. And we're at about 2.5 hours of play here, despite all the walks. Deal 1. Once again, fouled out of play, and the Gatemen are 1 strike away. Looking to get win number 2 in points 3 and 4 on the young season. Here it is again. Swing and a miss. He got him. The Gatemen capsize the Mariners, and they get back in the win column. Your final score here today from Spillane Field: Wareham 12 and Harwich 1. A nice win for the Gatemen here in front of the faithful at Spillane Field.
No errors for Wareham, 12 runs on 9 hits and 1 error.
Yeah, and a very, very solid victory. Again, it kind of felt like they just progressively started to pull away a little bit more. Not a bad night offensively for the Mariners, but the pitching staff just got rocked. And, well, they're going to get a chance to turn that around tomorrow, but brutal, brutal night for them.
The Mariners leave town tonight with 8 hits, but only 1 run. That's, I think, Aiden, we'll talk about this more on the post-game show, so you can check this out on our social channels. That's what happens when you avoid the free passes.
Yeah.
They had 8 hits tonight. Picard worked through trouble. Bowery had a little bit of trouble. Nice defensive play, cut it down, and Dima able to work around it here tonight. So once again, a great night for Wareham Gatemen baseball. Now 2-2 on the season. Once again, the final score: Wareham 12, Harwich 1. Join us for our next broadcast tomorrow night against the Orleans Firebirds at 6 p.m. here at Spillane Field. The Gatemen Broadcast Network is a production of Wareham Community Television and the Wareham Gatemen. Our producers are Braden Schenk and Rachel Manning. The director of the broadcasting department is Jay Spinelli. And the president of the Gatemen is the one and only Glenn Hannington. For our entire crew and my broadcast partner, Aiden Blank, I'm Jack Hunter saying so long from Spillane Field. You've been watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on Wareham Community Television, D1 Baseball, and the Gatemen Baseball Network. Good night, everybody.